Hey everybody, it is Larry from GeekyKOOL.com. I'm coming to you for a quick little video, our what we call Geek Speak. This is episode number 2 for those of you that did not watch episode 1. Go back and watch it. It's not a very long watch. It's could be a lot of fun. I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to bring you a little video here. Firstly, it's Thanksgiving week. It's Monday. Thursday will be Thanksgiving here in the United States. So to all of our American viewers, happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful day of relaxing while certain people slave in the kitchen. No, that's not it. Have a good day of relaxing. Have a great time with family. I hope you have many pleasant memories coming from Thursday. If you don't have someplace to go on Thursday, please contact a friend. I'm sure most friends would love to have you come and join them. And that goes out to all my friends. If you guys need a place to go, let me know. Anyway, so happy Thanksgiving out there to everybody. Geeky Kool usually does some Thanksgiving posts and tries to keep things fun. So we usually do post the turkey drop from WKRP in Cincinnati. So I usually post that video just to remind people of one of the greatest Thanksgiving episodes of anything. It's right up there with Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving. It may be even better because it's just hysterical. And all I can say is, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Anyway, so happy Thanksgiving. I mentioned last time that probably talk a little bit about my thoughts on the differences between what a geek is and what a nerd is. And just know, it doesn't really matter. So I'll just tell you, both of these terms were used as derogatory terms back in the yesteryears, back when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s. If you were a geek or a nerd or people called you that was typically a bad thing. Now, I never really, I probably embraced that early on because I really didn't care. But by the way, Paralandra, great band. If you guys don't know who this is, go check it out on YouTube. They're a really cool band. Anyway, so geek and nerd. So both of these terms were used as derogatory terms for people that liked things that was out of the norm, which most of the pop culture stuff that we now accept in today's day and age, comic books, comic book movies, sci-fi, fantasy. I mean, we've got streaming services fighting over who's going to get what fantasy show. And this was all nerd and geekdom in the past. These are things that you got made fun of for reading the books. You got made fun of for talking about. You got your head shoved in a toilet, or you got bullied in general for liking these things. So either term that's where both terms come from. Also the term dweeb. Now, term dweeb hasn't really caught on. People usually think of dweebs as being some sort of think of Wormwood from Lord of the Rings. Now, here I go being geek. Where's it? Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings, where he's sniveling over the corner and doing all that. That's what people think of with dweeb. Geek and nerd have different connotations nowadays. Geekdom and nerdom is celebrated as a general thing. But let me just break down kind of where my brain goes. Why I call this geeky cool and not nerdy cool is that in my mind, geek has a connotation of basically really being into certain fandoms, making that your geekdom. Star Wars, Star Trek, pretty much anything sci-fi, anything fantasy, Lord of the Rings, all of that. Those are really geeky things. And nerds can like that too. And a lot of times nerds and geeks cross over. And again, some people are going to tell you that my definition of geek and their definition of nerd is the same, and maybe they flip them around how I do. Nerd, in my mind, was more of my friends in high school that were super intelligent. Those, in my mind, are the nerds, the ones that had the straight A's. They were fighting for all the great all of the great grades. They were on the Scholars Bowl team. I was on the Scholars Bowl team, but I wasn't nearly as smart as these guys. The ones with the ACT scores are outrageous. Those, in my mind, that sets a geek and a nerd apart. Geeks are just obsessive on whatever things that they're really into. For me, it's always been comic books and Star Wars and sci-fi in general and fantasy in general. And, it's built into a lot more steampunk and everything else. But for nerds, it's also been about grades. It's about they're showing off their intelligence. And I've never been stupid as far as, I've never been a lower intelligence. I've had challenges in school. I was dyslexic, and my ADD caused me problems. So I did not get the best grades in school. In fact, it wasn't until college that I started making the AB honor roll, and at one point the A honor roll. That was the wildest thing in the world because I was a kid who was used to making C's all the way through school, struggling with my grades, spelling tests are horrible, sort of things that if you have dyslexia that are a little bit of a challenge for you. Reading was always a challenge just because of my dyslexia. I could read fine. It was just slow. I didn't like to read in front of the class because, again, dyslexic. And I was going to say things incorrectly from the class and get people to laugh at me. But that's where I was. So I know I've never really considered myself a nerd, but I've always loved my nerd friends. Now, like again, I said some people will say actually nerd and geek, or I've got the definitions transposed. It can be whatever you want. I just want to say neither term is bad. I would be happy to be called a nerd or a geek nowadays. In fact, I grew to love those terms in high school because I really got to the point where I didn't care. If you think I'm a geek, so what? I like what I like. Shut up and go away. And if you don't like it, that's too bad for you because it's cool. If you don't want to play D&D with me, that's fine. Or other role playing games, that's fine. Don't. But don't look down upon me because I'm going to do it, because I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's always how I've been. So for those people that, have used those terms in a disparaging way in the past, forgive you. Let's move on and join the geek and nerdum. And so the girl I had a crush on from fourth grade until through freshman year of high school. And I went to a little small school, but the girl I had a crush on, cute blonde girl, very popular, was a cheerleader. Yeah, and I was not popular. Actually, it's interesting. A different story. So I wasn't popular, especially at that point. But I kind of to find out later, she liked a lot of the things I did, but of course she couldn't express it. One, it wasn't as acceptable for girls to say it, and two, she wanted to, keep her popularity, which I completely understand. She was very, very popular. Later on in high school, I actually became quite a ladies' man, but never with the school I was in. It was always going to other towns because they didn't know all my baggage. They didn't know that I was the geeky kid who brought a towel to school with a safety pin and would yell Shazam and put on my towel and fly around like I was Captain Marvel. They didn't know that. And they didn't have that experience where kids in my high school, since I went from kindergarten all the way up to all the way to my senior year with them, they knew all the stories. They knew Geeky Larry and everything else that I was called, several different names out there. And again, I forgive all that. It's all good. That's water under the bridge. I'm not holding a grudge. It's all good. But anyway, that's my definition of geek and nerd. That's how I break it down. Is basically nerds are your more super intelligent individuals that are absolutely amazing with what they know and what they can do with that. And I was never one of those. I was always the above average intelligence, but really into my fandoms to where I would get super excited about it. And I'd bring my comic books to school, had comic books taken by teachers and tossed in the trash can because I brought them to school. Nowadays, we encourage it because it actually helps kids learn to read. Back then, they had missed that part where you could actually help you to learn to read. Anyway, that was just my little blurb here for my second episode of Geek Speak. I just wanted to touch base with you all. Wish you happy Thanksgiving once again. Hope your day is wonderful. And watch Geeky Kool. We'll be posting some stuff out there. So if your family is driving you crazy and you need a few minutes away to read an article or watch the turkey drop, once again, that I always like to post every year for Thanksgiving, check it out and enjoy some time relaxing and having a great Thanksgiving. And as I always end every episode, stay geeky, and we'll talk to you all later. Peace out.